This is the Pain Train Preston Quinn, one half of the Extreme Horsemen. And when I want to hear music and entertainment, I come right here. You're listening to On the Fly with Stevie and Warden.
You are listening to On the Fly.
What's up, guys? It is Sunday morning, May 19th, and got a day off. You know, the last time I was up here, if you guys were watching, the last time I got called away to, it was kind of an emergency, but everything's fine. Apologize for that. Yeah, that was kind of a hectic day, but everything's good. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you've had a great weekend. This is my first day off. I have 2 in a row, so I should hopefully be in here tomorrow. So 59 degrees outside, kind of chilly this morning. I mean, I'm like, what the heck? We can't make up, which it's North Carolina. In North Carolina, we can't make up. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but it's like you could have 90 degrees in the afternoon, and then that night it would be 40. So, you know, it's the way it is. I should be used to it. If you notice, I got my earpieces in. I'm getting ready for a guest shot. I'm guest appearing tonight on another podcast, a KISS podcast called Podcast Rock City. I'll be one of the guests on there tonight. That starts at 7 tonight. If you guys want to check it out, I believe they've got. If you're on Facebook, or I don't know if they're on Twitter, check them out and be sure to give me some support in there, guys. Give me some support in there. I'm looking forward to it, Joe, and I don't know who else will be there. I'm sure somebody must be out for me to be guesting on there tonight. But check it out. If you're a KISS fan, if you're just a music fan, check it out too. I'll be on there tonight at 7 o'clock. And make sure you always check out Podcast Rock City. They do a great job over there. They've been going for a long time too. I've been kind of, even before doing this tonight, I've been like binge listening to a lot of the older episodes, and I didn't realize how long this podcast has been going on. Probably one of the longest podcasts that's out there. Be sure to get your comments in, you guys out there at X, or formerly known as Twitter. Get your comments in. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're at, get your comments in if you want to. And so let's get right into it. So I got to tell you the story that happened to me over the last 2 days. So, you know, with the podcast, excuse me, I try to get guests on here, and I reach out. You know, somebody told me a long time ago that worked in the radio business that helped me a lot. Gaddis Hodges, who you've heard on the Final Score a lot. If you don't ask, you'll never know. The worst they can tell you is no. And he's right. So I reach out to a lot of people that probably don't even look at the request or something like, you know, don't even give it a second look. But you know what? I take that chance. So I'm not going to say the name of this artist, but it's a very well-known artist. I mean, this has been in the public eye for a while now. Friday night, I just got through eating supper, and I look at my phone and I check my Facebook, and I got followed by this well-known artist. And the Facebook, you know, naivety for me, the Facebook page had the blue check mark. And I was like, huh. And I showed it to my daughter, and she was like, wow. So I took a chance. I mean, I thought it was kind of strange, to tell you the truth, that they followed me without me following them. So never mind. I'll take a chance and send a message to this person on Facebook that, you know, I do a podcast and would love to have you on. I've been a fan for years. Would love to have you on. Didn't think anything of it. Just, because a lot of times there's no telling how many I've sent out to these well-known artists that just don't even get looked at and just go the other way. So the next morning, yesterday morning, I'm at work, and I look, my notifications goes off on my phone. So I look, and I've got a message back from this person. They liked my comment or my message I sent to them, and then they sent me an audio message that was saying, would love to work out the details to be on your podcast, blah blah blah. I'm not going to say anything because some of the details might give it away, and I don't think it was really this person. That's what I'm getting to. So yeah, I was like, yeah, of course. Let me know what I can do. I gave them some times, and I could work around their schedule to have them on the show. Of course, with a big time artist, you're like, yeah, I'll work around your schedule as much as I can to get you on the show. So I wait, and I'm just like, wow, this is freaking awesome. And I got sucked in, I guess. But about an hour later, I get another message from this person, which, like I said, I really think it was a scam. I'll let that out. I really think it was a scam after this because I can't imagine this next. I've been doing podcasts for, this is like the fourth or fifth year now. They laid it out like, okay, for my appearance on your podcast and with my time and all this, it's going to cost $3,000. And they said that donation would be going straight to a private charity that they were funding. And I was like, well, and that threw up red flags. So I got in contact with one of my podcast buddies, Brian Colburn from my weekly mixtape, and which I appreciate him, getting his opinion on it. And I know it's their time and stuff. Their time is, but $3,000, dude. Come on. My response back was, it's nice about it. I just said, I don't make any money off this podcast. I'm just doing it for the heck of it because I want to do a podcast. I want to talk about things. I want to do that. I've said many a time on here that if I never make a dime off this podcast, it'll be fine if I get to, I've made some great friends. I've got to talk to some people I never would have got to talk to before because of this podcast, because of the Final Score, and because of On the Fly and Triple Threat Main Event. So I just, me and Brian talked back and forth about it for a while. If you haven't checked out my weekly mixtape, check it out. He used to do Playlist Wars. Now he's got my weekly mixtape, and it's really taken off. I mean, Brian does a great job. So make sure you check him out, guys. Hopefully, we're going to have Brian on an episode coming up in the next couple of months or so. But, we got to talking. I was like, that could have been AI that got his voice like that. And he was like, and he looked, and the more he looked, the more he thought, this is a scam, dude. This is a scam. And I was like, the blue check mark disappeared from the page. I never got a response back. And to this, let me see if they've never looked at my response back, which, I mean, that's fine. But this person has 3,500 followers. But I think it should have been a lot more about that. I don't know. I mean, I just can't do. I can't do $3,000 for an appearance on my podcast. I don't. I appreciate their time and their, but it's just a podcast. I mean, I can talk about this person's music, and I'm a big fan. Still am a big fan of this person. If that was that person, then okay. But no, that's not going to happen. Lord, there's a lot of things I could do with $3,000, but that's not one of them. So that happened yesterday, and I was like, yesterday was kind of an up and down day. I was like, wow, really? So, but yeah, today, I got to think about it this morning. Am I going to do a show today? And I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do a show. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys. So, I mean, if it was a scam, be on the lookout for it, and it's scary that, I let a lot of people hear that, and some people like that's definitely AI, the way they're talking, their patterns. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't do $3,000. No offense to that person, that artist cannot do $3,000 for an appearance on this show. Wish I could. Wish I was at that level where I could do that, but no. Anyway, moving on. Music news. Skid Row. We talked, I think Monday, we talked about Skid Row, about Sebastian talking about it could be time for a reunion. There was a misunderstanding, all this. Well, Skid Row kicked off their tour with guest vocalists. Eric Gronwall is gone, so they had some tour dates. So they got Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm to fill in. And geez, myself, after hearing a few songs, I know Sonny Pooney, who does the podcast Rock City Growing Up Rock, he was there, and he posted some video, and a lot of people posted video of her up there. 18 in Life, the girl has got some pipes. And I'll say this, Tom and Zeus and Sonny, when they did the album review crew on Shout Out Loudcast, they got me to listen to Hailstorm because of that, because listen to that episode. Excuse me. And she's a singer. I mean, no doubt about it. She's got pipes. And she killed it on the songs that I've heard up here. Looking at the set list, started off 14 songs, I think. Let me make sure of that. No, 16 with the encore. Slave to the Grind leads off. The Threat, Big Guns, 18 in Life. I saw the video of that. Resurrected, Piece of Me, Living on a Chain Gang, Making a Mess, Psychotherapy, Quicksand Jesus, Time Bomb, I Remember You, The Gang's All Here, Monkey Business, and then the encores were Riot Act and Youth Gone Wild. I would love to see this whole set. I mean, I don't know if it exists, if people had the whole concert filmed or anything. I'd love to see the whole thing. I have not seen I Remember You. That would be one I would like to see how she did on that. But I mean, so many songs up here, it's just got me curious to see how she did. 18 in Life, she did great. I know that. Now there's people popping up and saying, could this be more than temporary with Lizzie Hale? Now, Hailstorm's out there. I don't know. I mean, but it's a good fit. I mean, she's killing it on there for this first night. And this was Friday night. Where was it at? Illinois, Walker's Bluff in Carterville, Illinois. I'm sure there was a pretty big crowd there just for curiosity of that. I mean, that place was probably packed. Not just it was Skid Row, but Lizzie Hale being there. I'm sure it was packed. I'm sure Sonny will be talking about it on Growing Up Rock. So make sure you check out Growing Up Rock. And like we said, podcast Rock City. But yeah, Skid Row, man, I mean, how is this going to work? I mean, are we going to have Lizzie Hale playing for Skid Row from now on? So Ultimate Classic Rock has a story up about it, so I'll check that out too. AC/DC, who we'll get to later too, launched their first tour in 8 years. First time they've gone on a full tour since 2016. They were in Germany. This was actually Friday night too. They did perform at the Power Trip Festival in 2023, but as far as a full-blown tour, this is a first in 8 years for them since Cliff Williams is no longer there with AC/DC. Let's see what the set list. Who is playing in the band now? I mean, Angus Young, Brian Johnson, but who else is in the band now? I don't even know. Let's see, drummer Matt Logg, bassist Chris Chaney, who was best known for his time in Jane's Addiction. That was his first show with AC/DC. He's the one that replaced Cliff Williams after Cliff Williams had been with the group for more than 40 years. Let's see. Here's the set list for that. Excuse me. They led off with If You Want Blood, You Got It, Back in Black, Demon Fire, Shot Down in Flames, Thunderstruck, Have a Drink on Me, Hell's Bells, Shot in the Dark, Stiff Upper Lip, You Shook Me All Night Long, Rock and Roll Train, Shoot the Thrill, Sin City, Giving the Dog a Bone. Wow, they're doing a lot. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Dog Eat Dog, High Voltage, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Riff Raff, Highway to Hell, Whole Lotta Rosie, Let There Be Rock, TNT, and then last song was For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. 24 songs. That's great. I mean, for a band like AC/DC now that had been on the road in 8 years, and now I guess they're getting it all out now. They want to make up for lost time. 24, and I'm sure it was, looking at Brian and Angus up here. I mean, there's some video clips. If you want to check it out on Ultimate Classic Rock, there's some video clips up there from that. Let's see. Heart. This is interesting here. Nancy Wilson's come out and said she has no interest in reuniting with Heart's original lineup, and it reportedly refused at least one lucrative offer to do so. And this is coming from Ultimate Classic Rock, guys. So, in a recent conversation with the Washington Post, Ann Wilson's manager, Dave Fry, noted that Hart had been given a big offer to perform a special concert at Washington State's famous Gorge Amphitheater, celebrating the 50th anniversary of their debut album, Dreamboat Annie. The request was to have Hart's original 1975 lineup back together for one show. I mean, and if you go back and look at like Behind the Music on Heart, there was a lot of trouble with that original lineup, and some of the guys from that lineup left, it was not pleasant. According to Fry, Ann was on board with the idea, even suggesting that a documentary could be filmed chronicling the event. Nancy, however, had zero interest. She said, "I don't think you could pay me enough. What's the word? It's icky." And she seemed to, Ann seemed to contradict Fry's enthusiasm, explaining in separate conversations that a reunion could carry a lot of unwanted baggage. The thing that the fans don't ever consider is the unpleasantness of how the relationships within the band function. If the band split up, there was a reason for that. And yeah, if you look at the like I said, the behind the music, there was a lot of dating. The girls were dating members of the band, and those relationships didn't end well. I'll just put it that way. Things went awry pretty badly, and so that's probably not the best thing for them to do. It's probably a good thing. A lucrative offer is one thing, but that peace of mind goes a long way too. If you didn't get along. That's why we talk about all these reunions, guys. And you look at these bands like Kiss. They did the reunion tour. after all that bad blood, and you see the bad blood resurface. And the Eagles, same way. Bad blood resurface. And that money looks good, but they used their heads. They were thinking with their heads instead of that pocketbook about how it would affect them in the long run and how it's going to end up. They didn't want to go through that again. I can't say I blame them, although I'm sure it would be a nice little payday. If she says lucrative, I can't imagine what the offer was. They never came out and said what the offer was. So, Bon Jovi. I'm still watching the documentary. I'm getting ready for an episode with that documentary. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to finishing it, but it's painful as well. They also, the new album's coming out, Forever. They've already released one song from that, and now they've released a new single out, Living Proof. John says we bring back the talk box, the idea based on Peter Frampton and Joe Walsh, and I'm using it first on Living on a Prayer. This is a big old rock song, just the way you like it, which it is. I listen to it. The thing about it, it kind of seems like, and I don't know if it's done purposely or not, it seems like the music, and maybe it's just where I'm listening to. Maybe I need to listen to it with my headphones. But just listen to it the first couple of times. It sounds like the music is a lot. The volume on the music when they mix it is a lot louder than his actual vocals. I don't know, but I'm looking. If the album is going to be upbeat like that and rocking songs like that, I can deal with that. This, like I said before on here, this 2020 thing, that album that depressed me, that's not what I want to hear from a Bon Jovi. And I don't think a 60-year-old man should be singing about some of the stuff that they sang about back in the day, but sing some upbeat songs. I mean, you don't have to sing about partying and doing all this and girls and all this, but sing some upbeat songs at least. Not that 2020 album was depressing, and even the biggest Bon Jovi fans will tell you that. I'm drinking my Powerade this morning, guys. I just want to usually drinking my Lipton brisk tea, but didn't have one this morning, so I drank a Powerade. That's like my coffee. Steve Perry from Journey confirmed he has signed with a new label, and he's now hinting at a return to concert stages. He hasn't done that in 30 years. The last time he did a full-length concert was with Journey in 1987. Tells Rolling Stone, "It's something that I'm absolutely missing terribly. I can't even tell you how much, but there's been a big soulful reclaiming of this original feeling I had about singing that I need to get back to. I didn't want to go out and just turn the wheel or turn the crank." He did that album in 2018, the Traces album, but the solo tour never worked out. Instead, he released a stripped-down version of the album. They used arrangements he'd originally worked for out for shows that never happened. Asked why, Perry said, "It's a long story. Uncle Steve is up in age, and everybody at that age has some aches and pains and things like that. But it's a really good question that I've been asking myself too." So could he come out? I would love to see Steve Perry back out on tour. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Steve Perry back out on tour again? He's got a great voice. I haven't heard any of his recent stuff. I know he redid Separate Ways for the Stranger Things stuff, and he did this some of this stuff in 2018, but I haven't really heard a lot of him lately. So Steve Perry looking like he's going back, maybe going back on tour. Let's keep our fingers crossed. On this day in music in 2000, it's May 19th, the history of May 19th in music. Let's see what we got here. I'm not going to go through all of it, but Pete Townsend of The Who is born in 1945. Happy birthday. Joey Ramone, who was born Jeffrey Ross Hyman, is born on this day in 1951. Billy Ray Cyrus in 1992 releases his debut album, Some Gave All, and everybody remembers the old Achy Breaky Heart. That album dominates the Billboard 200 chart for 17 consecutive weeks, and the music video spawns a line dancing trend across the U.S. Did you guys ever line dance? I never did. I'm not much of a dancer, though. I've got like 2 left feet. I have no rhythm. I mean, I really don't have any rhythm. So it would be embarrassing. But, you know, who knows? Maybe one day I'll get out there. Sonny and Cher on this day in 1998 get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's Sonny, who had died early in the year. See, that's what I'm talking about. When we talked about the Hall of Fame thing, doing it, Dee Snider making the comment, do this while they're still here. You mean to tell me that it's so coincidental that it was planned to give Sonny and Cher a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame 4 months after he died? This was already planned out. I mean, I know accidents happen, but come on. I think that may have pushed it a little bit. All right, let's see. No. On this day in 2017, Linkin Park released the pop album One More Light, which ends up being their last album with lead singer Chester Bennington, who commits suicide on July 20th. The lead single, Heavy, reflects his troubled state of mind. On this day in 2010, David Guetta's Getting Over You becomes the billionth track to be Shazammed. Anybody use Shazam? I do. I've used it several times. Not really. On this day in 1998, Jewel released a book of poetry, A Night Without Armor. I can't say I saw that. On this day in 1997, the Backstreet Boys released Quit Playing Games With My Heart, their breakthrough single in the U.S. Let's see. On this day in 1996, Sonic Youth, Smashing Pumpkins, Peter Frampton, and Cypress Hill appear on the Homerpalooza episode of The Simpsons. I remember that one. On this date in 1990, Madonna's Vogue, a song about dance popular in gay nightclubs where dancers strike a pose like fashion models, goes to #1 in America. Now on this day in 1986, former Genesis frontman Peter Gabriel transitions from cult performer to pop star with the release of his 5th solo album, So, which includes the hit single Sledgehammer. I was a big Sledgehammer fan. On this day, 1984, the song Thriller falls off the Hot 100, ending a run of hits from the Thriller album that started on November 6, 1982, when The Girl Is Mine entered the tally. In that stretch, only 2 weeks went by without a Thriller song on the charts. That was a classic album. On this date, 1975, Leonard Skinner released the single Saturday Night Special. The B-side is Made in the Shade. It's the only single released from the Nothing Fancy album. No. Don't see much up here on this day, guys. I'm looking through it right now. No. On this day, 1958, Richie Valens records Come On, Let's Go, Peggy Lee, and Fever. On this day, 1954, Phil Rudd, drummer for AC/DC, is born. On this date, 1949, Dusty Hill of ZZ Top is born. Okay, and on this day, in 1962, less than 3 months before her death, Marilyn Monroe makes one of her last public appearances at President Kennedy's 45th birthday celebration, where she famously sings Happy Birthday, Mr. President, in his honor. And I'm sure that wasn't a pleasant house to go home to after she did that night. That was, okay. We're gonna just say that's out there. I mean, there was no doubt there. And you guys know, unless you're too young to remember, you guys know what I'm talking about. What about the Chiefs? The Chiefs has had like so much legal problems off the field with their players. You had 2 players arrested for having pot, which, I know pot is legal in some places now. What about the guy, and I can't remember his name, that he ran away from a wreck, a high-speed wreck, and then said he learned his lesson. Then he got, was it assault? I hate to say what it was, but assault, maybe. I don't know. All right, let's get to sports news. We just talked about the Chiefs. So, the Chiefs got to realize your problems happen when you're the back-to-back champions. Problems happen. NFL released their schedule this week. I don't know what you guys think about this. I mean, I've got Netflix, so not a problem for me. But Netflix is going to have all of the Christmas Eve games, Christmas Day games, which includes the Steelers facing the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Texans. Thanksgiving, we'll have the Bears facing the Lions, Giants and the Cowboys, and then the Dolphins taking on the Packers. Black Friday game will be the Chiefs hosting the Raiders. And then we'll have a Super Bowl rematch between the Chiefs and the 49ers. That's week 7. 9 rematches from the 2023 playoffs are coming on. Now, week 8, the Bears would play the Commanders, which will have the number 1 pick against the number 2 pick. Who knows if both those, Caleb Williams and Jay Daniels, who knows if they'll be in the start lineup by then. Who knows? Monday Night Football, I'm looking at who the Panthers aren't playing in primetime. I thought it was like a rule, maybe things have changed, that you had to get at least 1 primetime game. But I may be wrong. Strength of schedule. So the top 3 teams with the hardest schedule in football, according to last year's record, it's the AFC North. The Browns, Ravens, and Steelers are both up there. The stretch that the Steelers play, where's the Browns at? Or the Bengals. The Bengals are tied for 16. But the stretch, and I'm going to pull it up right now, that the Steelers play, I've heard several members of the media say this is the hardest schedule in football they've ever seen. And Colin Cowherd even made the comment that Mike Tomlin has never had a losing year. It will happen this year. And I'm inclined to probably agree. I hope not, as a Steelers fan. So they lead off with Atlanta. Week 2, Denver, with the reunion from Russell Wilson, who played for the Broncos last year. Week 3, the Chargers. Week 4, the Colts. Week 5, everybody's favorite. All the Cowboy fans out there, go ahead and say it. Y'all going to win the Super Bowl this year. Okay, right. That's a Sunday night game, 8:20 kickoff time at Pittsburgh, by the way. Week 6, the Raiders. Week 7, the Jets, another primetime Sunday night game. Then we play a Monday night game against Matthew Bazemore's favorite team, the New York Giants. Bye week. Now, after the bye, things start getting the Commanders. We had the Commanders the first week. Then after that, this is the stretch I'm talking about right here. Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. So if there's no division games the first half of the year, after the bye is all Pittsburgh's division games, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's who was making that schedule. Somebody said, who in Cleveland made Pittsburgh's schedule? I don't know. I think it's a tough schedule, and it's going to be, unless we catch fire. I know we've got a great defense. Our offense is up in the air. It's going to be tough to have a winning season this year. I want to see. Let me see here if I can pull up Baltimore's schedule. So Baltimore, let's see. Come on now. They lead off with the Eagles. That's preseason, excuse me. All right, regular season, they lead off with the Chiefs, Thursday night game, the opening game of the season. Chiefs, Raiders, Cowboys, Bills. That's not an easy stretch right there. Bengals, Commanders, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Denver, Bengals, Pittsburgh, Chargers, Eagles, bye week, Giants, Steelers, Texans, Cleveland. Not an easy road for Baltimore either, but it's you got to play it on the field. It's not on paper, so some teams may not be as good as they were the year before. Let's see. NBA playoffs going on. The Mavericks advanced last night with a comfort behind win over Oklahoma City Thunder, who were the number 1 seed. I said last week I thought that the experience of the Mavericks and the fact that the Thunder were the youngest team in the playoffs would probably factor in there. And they almost pulled it off. They were up 17 in the third quarter and let them come back on them. So the Mavericks move on to the finals, the Western Conference Finals, awaiting the winner of the Timberwolves Nuggets, which is tied at 3. So on the other side, the East, the Celtics move on. We talked about that. 4-1 win over the Cavaliers. They're waiting on the winner of the Pacers and the Knicks, who are deadlocked at 3. I'm not sure. When do they play? They both play today. So at the end of the day today, we'll know the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. NBA getting into the heart of their the time for NBA fans right now. I'm sorry. I may pay attention. I'll pay attention to the playoffs, but I just can't do the regular season. So Mavericks, what do you guys think? Like I said, I would love to see Mavericks versus Nuggets in the finals and Celtics versus Knicks in the other one. But who knows? It's coming. This is win and go home today for all 4 of these teams. Hurricanes, NHL news. The Hurricanes unfortunately got eliminated by the Rangers this past week. Hurricanes went down 3-0 in the series and then came back to get it to 3-2. Just couldn't get over the hump, and I think it was like a 4-2 win for the Rangers this past in game 6 that put it away. Hate the Hurricanes. Hurricanes can't get over that hump. All I can say, Hurricanes fans, just get ready for next year. Hopefully, get over the hump next year. Let's see. Let's talk. Keeping it in the NBA. Well, going back to the NBA. Excuse me. Bronny James is going in the draft, guys. There's been a lot of talk out there. LeBron is kind of, how do I say it, leveraging teams to pick his son because he can make the decision to go wherever his son goes because he wants to play with his son. He said that. So a lot of these teams that, the Lakers are sitting back there, will do whatever we need to do. Excuse me. We'll do whatever we need to do to keep LeBron here. But these teams that are in the draft, say like the Hawks could say, not just from not just from a talent, gosh knows how much that, not just from a talent, getting talent like LeBron there, but getting getting a draw like LeBron, a money draw. I mean, no doubt, I don't really care for LeBron, but people are going to buy tickets to watch him. And I mean, the money that Atlanta would get out of, the Lakers don't have a pick. Let's see. Do they even have a pick? Lakers don't have a pick in the first round. So it's not like they could say, hey, I'll give you our pick and something else if y'all let us move up. There's no way they can do that. They traded, LeBron drained the draft picks to get people here. And it didn't work out. So Bronny, the Hawks have talked about picking Bronny just to get his dad. Can you imagine you might be the number one pick in the NBA draft just because your dad said, okay, I'll go where, if you pick him, I'm probably going to play with him. So we'll see. It should be interesting to keep an eye on this with how that goes down. I can't remember when the NBA draft is. I know it's probably summertime. Let me see. Does it have it up here? No, it doesn't say. So I can find out. I'll see. Nope. I don't see it up here. I don't feel like looking for it right now. Tell you the truth. So, MLB standings. My Orioles are falling back a little bit. The Yankees take a 2-game lead over the Orioles. The Orioles 6-4 and lost yesterday to the Mariners. So the Yankees, Guardians are still on top in the Central. The Mariners on top in the West, and in the National. What about the Angels? The Angels are in dead last. And we put the curse on the Athletics guys. We were talking about they were so close to that. Yeah, they've dropped back too. Phillies with a 4-game lead over the Braves. Dodgers with a 7.5-game lead on the Padres, and then the Brewers with a 2-game lead over the Cubs. So MLB is a long season. And we'll follow that as much as we can. WNBA. Now, everybody remembers Caitlin Clark in college. At University of Iowa, comes out. She's the first pick in the draft. A lot of people talking about, including Diana Taurasi, who was a veteran of the WNBA and great star in the WNBA and at University of Connecticut. Talk about Caitlin Clark, she's not going to do this, done that. Let me just say this about that. Nobody expects Caitlin Clark to come out there and not set the world on fire, but come out right away and score 30 points, do like she did in college. It's an adjustment period. Yeah, it's a little bit tougher. People in the NFL, very rarely you see NFL players come out and just dominate the first game. It has happened, no doubt about it, but it's not right. Maybe she just needs to get herself adjusted. I don't see what the big deal is. They're making something out of nothing here with Caitlin Clark about, she's struggling. She's struggling. Yeah, she's played 2 games. Look at her. It's all I've seen. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can pull up her stat. First 3 NBA games are actually historic on the stat sheet compared to other legends. Clark has not made the same impact on the score sheet for any out of 3 games in that she typically made at Iowa. She's already elite company where the other WNBA stars started their career. The league shared on social media that Clark scoring 50-plus points, recording 50-plus assists in her first 3 WNBA games, has only been achieved by 3 other players, Candace Parker, Sue Bird, and Nikki McCray-Penson. They are 3 of the best WNBA players in league histories and should give Clark a substantial amount of reassurance that she's on perfectly fine path for having played less than a week of regular season professional basketball. So, yeah, I mean, give her a break, guys. You're not seeing that. Well, she turned the ball over. Yeah, she turned the ball over. She's making mistakes. She's going to make mistakes. She's learning, dude. I think she's going to be all right. I mean, I'm quoting from For the Win story by Corey Woodruff up here. That's where I got that information from. So don't push the panic button. Caitlin Clark's the biggest bust in WNBA history. She's the biggest bust in sports history. It's only been a week. So, last but not least, I'm going to start doing something up here, guys, that I've been meaning to do for a while. Where's the stuff at? Playlist. We do an on-the-fly playlist. We've got 2 or 3 of them out there on Spotify and Apple playlists. If you want to find them, just look up On the Fly, and you'll find a playlist up there. So I'm getting ready to put up I'm going to go alphabetical, like a group of artists from each letter. Excuse me. And I may do some that are like sprinkle in some bands with that letter in there too. But this one is starting with the letter A. And this is my AC/DC playlist. And, I'm not the biggest AC/DC fan, but I like a lot of their songs. I do have some deep cuts on here. But mostly what you're going to see is going to be some of the hits. So leading off at number 1 is Hell's Bells. The first track off Back in Black, and the first song that you heard after the tragic death of lead singer Bon Scott. Brian Johnson takes over, and you're like, okay, they're going to be all right. But Hell's Bells, when you get dong, yeah, and that opening riff, nothing like it. I mean, for AC/DC fans, and I remember hearing it for the first time, and I was actually, as a kid, don't ask me why, kind of scared of AC/DC, but I love Kiss. I love the band with a guy that blew fire and spit blood, but AC/DC was kind of scary. Anyway, Hell's Bells is number 1. Then at number 2 is a favorite of mine, and it's off Back in Black, Shoot to Thrill. You heard it on some of these songs. A lot of these songs are on soundtracks too. But Shoot to Thrill was one song when I listened to Back in Black back in the day that I was like, this is everybody talking about Hell's Bells and Back in Black, but I was always a fan of Shoot to Thrill just as much as I was them. Never released as a single, but it plays on like classic rock radio. It's a fan favorite. But yeah, Shoot to Thrill was. I think there was actually a music video with exclusive footage from Iron Man 2. So Shoot to Thrill is one of mine. And then number 3, I remember the first time I heard this song, I was at my cousin's house in Emporia. He had the Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap album. And we get to a song we're playing, and he said, you got to hear this one. And I was like, I started laughing. And I looked, and I was like, is that for real? And it was a play on words. Big balls. My balls are always bouncing to the left and to the right. I mean, you automatically think he's talking about one thing, and with good reason, but he's actually talking about balls, like balls and people get dressed up for dances and stuff like that. But yeah, big balls is incredible. Let's see. From Blow Up Your Video, this is the first of my deep cuts here. Two's Up. I heard this. My brother had the Blow Up Your Video cassette. I was actually at a basketball game. This was like I can't remember what year it was when I was, but I was getting ready. We were getting ready to play, and I had my Walkman. Yeah, I had a Walkman. And kids out there listening probably don't know what a Walkman is, but I was playing, and I don't know why, but the only cassette we had in there was one time. Usually I carried a little case with me, but I only had Blow Up Your Video, so I was just listening to that. And then this song came on, and I was like, what in the freaking A is this? And nobody had really listened to it that much, but Two's Up. I like the guitars in it. I just like the rhythm of it. It's a driving rhythm, and Brian's song. It's conflicting things on what this song is about. Some say it's about gambling, playing card games. Some say it's about something else. And I heard some people talk about a threesome, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. But Two's Up is number 4 up here. And this is, guys, this is not my order of top AC/DC songs or anything like that, but just I put it in this order. Thunderstruck is next. I mean, what can you say? This is the ultimate stadium anthem. It was in Varsity Blues, and you hear it played at just about every, especially football games. Every football game. The way it starts off. Yeah, then when he says, "You've been," and then hits Thunderstruck. Yeah, I love that. And this next song, I didn't even know about really till a certain movie that I'm a big fan of came out. And it's a funny part of the movie. I'm talking about Grown Ups. When they do the long darts, they shoot the dart straight up in there, and they're showing them in slow motion, running away from it. I'm talking about Walk All Over You. Yeah, and that got me listening to, going to find out what album this came off from. This came off of Highway to Hell. But yeah, I like that song. I became a fan of that song because of Grown Ups, Adam Sandler. Next up is Who Made Who, from the soundtrack to the Stephen King movie, Maximum Overdrive. AC/DC did the entire soundtrack, which was a great, kind of like a greatest hits, kind of like what they did with Iron Man 2. But there was a couple of new songs in there. Who Made Who was one. I remember seeing the video to it. If you haven't seen Maximum Overdrive, it's about vehicle being possessed by evil spirits, and Emilio Estevez was in it. I haven't watched it in a long time, but yeah, Who Made Who, and that was the name of the album. Let me see, what was on that album? Who Made Who, You Shook Me All Night Long, DT, Sink the Pink, Ride On, Hell's Bells, Shake Your Foundation, Chase the Ace, and For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. I think DT was a new song. That was the only other new song besides Who Made Who. Only one song had Bon Scott on it. All others were Brian Johnson. Let's see. Making sure. Yeah. Whose theme, Who Made Who, Maximum Overdrive, was about machines that came alive and began killing people. The lyrics to Who Made Who explore the idea of gadgets and devices created by mankind coming to rule over human beings instead of the other way around. The irony where humans become subservient to the technology they created. Yeah, I did not write that. But that's kind of how it is today, guys. I mean, we talked about AI earlier. AI, they can make your voice. I mean, they can make you say anything. I mean, they can. It's kind of scary. We've got to talking to a friend of mine last night, and he was like, AI is okay as long as we can detect what's AI and what's real. So number 8, and it's everybody's heard it, probably heard it hundreds and hundreds of times. You Shook Me All Night Long from Back in Black. It's a great song. I got a little fatigued with it because I've heard it so much. I'm just tired of it, but still a great song, and that's got to be on my list. Highway to Hell at number 9. Another movie, another Adam Sandler movie. Adam Sandler must be a freaking AC/DC fan. The song was written by Angus Young, Malcolm Young, and Bon Scott. And the song is like about the schedule they were on, making studio albums and then promoting and then doing a tour, and Angus referred to it as being on the highway to hell. So great song. Bon Scott does it, and it's on Little Nicky, by the way, for Adam Sandler fans out there. Ended up with Back in Black. We talked about that out the album Back in Black. I don't know, guys. That Back in Black album is it's got to be my favorite AC/DC album. Just because that's my first introduction to it. And it has so many great songs that you really don't hear about. Shoot the Thrill is just one, but Shake Your Foundations was a great song. There's so many great songs. Have a Drink on Me, I think that was another one on that. I mean, they had some great songs on Back in Black. But I will get this up on Spotify and Apple playlist, so you guys could, which you can find it anyway. But that's something we're going to start doing more, guys. I don't know if I'll have one tomorrow, but we'll see. Anyway, like I said to you guys, tonight, 7 o'clock, Podcast Rock City. I will be guesting on Podcast Rock City. So you guys be sure to check it out. I think you can find it on the YouTube channel. I'm not sure if they do it on Facebook anymore, but be sure to check it out. I'm sure they'll have the link on their Facebook page if you want to check it out. That's going to do it for this morning. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Looks like it's going to be a better day here weather-wise than it was yesterday. Yesterday was rainy. It's going to be cold. I think it's 61 degrees right now, so a little bit colder, which is fine. It's not like it's freezing or anything, but you guys make sure you give me a follow. You see my socials here. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Follow my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give us a 5-star review if you like what you hear on the podcast, on the fly, or the final score. You can find Triple Threat main event episodes. I've got one getting ready to be uploaded in the next couple of days. You guys be sure to do that for us, guys. It doesn't cost you anything, and it takes you like maybe 2 minutes to do. But you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time on The Fly, Final Score, and Triple Threat main event.